everybody. Happy Monday. I hope everyone had a wonderful weekend, was able to relax, catch up on some rest maybe, have some fun with the family and friends. And that's when I hope everyone's Monday is going well. Sometimes for me, the start of the week is the hardest. First of all, I hate the fact that my weekend is over. It takes no time for my weekend to be over. And Monday's just the start of the hustle and bustle and rushing, taking the kids back and forth to daycare, working, coming home, cooking, the same old routine, fast-paced life. But, all right, everybody, let's go ahead and get into it. Ecclesiastes 4 and 5. And again, I'm still reading out of Joyce Meyer's Battlefields of the Mind. It's the amplified version. And again, I'm not going to read her notes and commentary just because I don't know how that would be as far as, copyright rules and everything. So that's it. But I still would say, and I recommend getting this Bible because this Bible is really, really good. Her comments or her commentary and her notes are awesome. So if you like Joyce Myers, I think you would like her book, her notes and stuff in this Bible. All right, so let's go ahead. Ecclesiastes chapter 4. Then I looked again and considered all the acts of oppression that were being practiced under the sun. And behold, I saw the tears of the oppressed, and they had no one to comfort them. And on the side of their oppressors was power, but they had no one to comfort them. So I congratulated and thought more fortunate are those who are already dead than the living who are still living. That's pretty powerful, huh? But better off than either of them is the one who has not yet been born. Wow. Who has not seen the evil deeds that are done under the sun. Yeah, I get that. If you haven't been born, you don't even know, the sorrows and the evilness that this life can bring and can hold. So I get that. All right. So, verse 4. I got kind of sidetracked there, y'all. Verse 4. I have seen that every effort, labor, and every skill in work comes from man's rivalry with his neighbor. This too is vanity, futility, and a false pride, the chasing after the wind. A fool folds his hands together and consumes his own flesh, destroying himself by idleness and apathy. One hand full of rest and patience is better than two hand fists full of labor and chasing after the wind. Then I looked again at vanity under the sun, and in one of its peculiar forms. There was a certain man without a dependent, having no child nor a brother, yet there was no end to all his labor. Indeed, his eyes were not satisfied with riches, and he never asked, "For whom do I labor and deprive myself of pleasure?" This too is vanity, a wisp of smoke, self-conceit. Yes, it is a painful effort and an unhappy task. Two are better than one because they have more satisfying return on their labor. For if either of them falls, the one will lift up his companion. But woe to him who is alone when he falls and does not have another to lift him up. Again, if two lie down together, then they keep warm. But how can one be warm alone? And though one can overpower him who is alone, two can resist him. A cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken. A poor yet wise youth is better than an old and foolish king who no longer knows how to receive instruction and counsel being friendly reproof and warning. For the poor youth has used his wisdom and come out of prison to become king, even though he was born poor in his kingdom. I have seen all the living under the sun join with the second youth, the king's acknowledged successor who replaces him. There is no end to all the people, to all who were before him, yet those who come later will not be happy with him, Surely this is also vanity, emptiness, and chasing after the wind. Chapter 5. Guard your steps and focus on what you are doing as you go to the house of God, and draw near to listen rather than to offer the careless and irreverent sacrifice of fools. For they are too ignorant to know they are doing evil. Do not be hasty with your mouth, speaking carelessly words or vows, or impulsive in thought to bring up a matter before God. For God is in heaven and you are on earth. Therefore, let your words be few. So know your place. Understand that God is the Almighty God. So be careful how you come to him, or, what you ask of him. For the dream comes through much effort, and the voice of the fool through many words. When you make a vow or a plea to God, do not put off paying it, for God takes no pleasure in fools who thoughtlessly mocks him. Pay what you vow. It is better that you should not vow than that you should vow and not pay. Do not allow your speech to cause you sin, and do not say before the messenger or the priest of God that it was a mistake. Why should God be angry because of your voice or your words, and destroy your work of your hands? For in a multitude of dreams and in a flood of words there is worthlessness. Rather reverently fear God and worship him with all-filled respect, knowing who he is. If you see the oppression of the poor and the denial of justice and righteousness and the providence, do not be shocked at the sight of corruption. Wow. That's just crazy because, when things happen, I always say, man, it's shocking that this happened, or, that this person's being treated this way. But, to read the Bible, if you stop and think about it, it's kind of like, it's kind of, I'm not going to say shocking, but it's kind of like, man, like this has been going on for years, And again, like it was saying in chapter 3 of Ecclesiastes, nothing is new. Everything just keeps going, keeps happening from one generation to the next. So the same thing with here in verse 8. That's the reason, this keeps happening. And it's not going to stop until Jesus comes back, I guess, Okay. For a higher official watches over another official, and there are higher ones over them, looking out for one another. And that is true. There are a lot of corrupt people in places of power, unfortunately. After all, a king who cultivates the field is an advantage to the land. He who loves money will not be satisfied with money, nor he who loves abundance with it gains. This too is vanity or emptiness. When good things increase, those who consume them increase. So what advantage is there to their owners except to see them with their eyes? The sleep of a working man is sweet, whether he eats little or much, but the full stomach or greed of the rich who hungers for even more will not let him sleep. There is a grievous evil which I have seen under the sun, riches being kept and hoarded by their owner to his own misery. For when those riches are lost in bad investments, and he becomes a father of a son, then there is nothing in his hand for the support of the child. As he came naked from his mother's womb, so he will return as he came, and he will take away nothing from all his labor that he has carried in his hand. That's very true. It's just like that old saying, you've never seen a U-Haul behind a hearse. You can't take all your stuff with you, when you die. Verse 16, this also is a grievous evil. Exactly as he is born, so he shall die. So what advantage has he who labors to the wind? All of his life he also eats and drinks. All of his life he also eats in darkness, cheerlessly, without sweetness and light, with great frustration, sickness, and anger. Behold, here is what I have seen to be good and fitting, to eat and drink, and to be and to find enjoyment in all the labor in which he labors under the sun during the few days of his life which God gives him, for this is his allotted reward. Also, every man to whom God has given riches and possessions, he has also given the power and ability to enjoy them and to receive this as his allotted portion and to rejoice in his labor. This is a gift of God to him. For he will not often consider the troubled days of his life because God keeps him occupied and focused on the joy of his heart. And the tranquility of God indwells in him. That was a good reading, you guys. Chapters 4 and 5. Okay, so pretty much don't work too hard. Work enough because you have to. Don't be surprised by the oppression that you'll see, in this lifetime. Be careful when you come to God. Don't promise him things if you know you cannot make good on it, and think twice before you say anything to him, whether it be a question or complaining or whatever. So, yeah. And also, two are better than one. For a long time, I thought that this meant, for married couples or single people. But after reading it a few times and doing some research on these verses, I'm taking from it, it's simply talking about like a person in their community or a person and their family member. Even though, that's fine if you're single and you're not married. Don't isolate yourself. At least, associate with the people around you, the people that you trust and you feel like have your best interest in hand and at heart. So, yeah, but this was a good reading today, guys. Don't forget, leave in the comments what you got from this. And the next time we meet, it'll be chapters 6 and 7. All right, everybody. Y'all have a blessed Monday. Y'all be safe, and I will see you all later. All right. Have a good one. Thanks for watching. Bye.